welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be filming a video all about the assessment centre. Personally, I went to Pirbright, so I'm going to be talking about Pirbright. Each assessment centre might be different, and I do know things are slightly changing because of the pandemic. So I think the rest of the assessment centres this year are going to be one day only rather than split over 2 days. So my experience may be completely different to your experience depending on your location, what you're joining, and the pandemic and things like that, like when you're watching this. So don't take everything I say word for word. I do have it all written down on my laptop so that I don't forget anything. And at the end of this video, I'm going to be answering some questions I asked you guys on my Instagram, what you wanted to hear, if you wanted to know anything particularly about the assessment centre. So I've got those questions to answer too at the end of this video. So let's jump right into it. So after you've had all of your medical forms sent off and you've had your interview at the AFCO and all of that jazz, you will finally be sent your assessment centre date. 3 days before your assessment centre date, you will get a list of what to take, and you will get your travel information. I didn't actually get a list of what to take, so I just guessed. Maybe the email was in my junk, but I never got the email. But when I went to assessment centre, they were like, did you not get a list of what to bring? I was like, nope. So that's great. But you will get your travel information. A lot of people go up by train. I was recommended not to drive, I do drive, but they said to me that there would be nowhere to park. I'd have to park at the train station anyway and get picked up by the bus anyway. So whether you drive, it makes no difference, and you're paying for the petrol, whereas they will pay for your train ticket. So I decided to go by train up to Pirbright, and the journey wasn't too long. I had one change from where I live. It wasn't too bad at all. So a couple of days before, you'll be told to go and pick up your tickets from your local train station. You'll go and pick up those tickets and they're ready for you for when you actually leave. So you go and pick up your tickets at the train station. They're completely free. You will then travel to the train station, get on your train and go to your assessment centre. So you will get a list of what to take. Like I said, I didn't. But I'm going to give you a couple of things that I would take. So I would take, obviously you want to wear smart clothes there. If you're a boy, everyone wears suits. If you're a girl, maybe a skirt and a blouse, or trousers and a blouse, or anything like that, or even a shirt. Gender equality, all that. And if you're a boy, wear a skirt if you want to wear a skirt. I'm not going to stop you. I would definitely take some sliders or some flip-flops, waterproof ones for the showers, because quite a lot of people did and I didn't, so I would definitely recommend doing that. I would also obviously take your civvy clothes. I would take 2 sets of civvy clothes, one for one evening and the other for the other evening. Personally, I just took 1 pair of jeans and then 2 different tops, but that's completely up to you. I just didn't really care about wearing the same pair of jeans twice. You're wearing them for 2 hours and then you go to bed, so. Don't forget all of your documents. I took my documents in a big folder, so don't forget those. They're really, really important, otherwise you can't proceed and you'll get deferrals and delayed, and it's just not worth it. Make sure you bring everything. So you will travel up there during the day and you'll get there around 4. I got there about 4, I think. This was August of last year, so I can't really remember, I'm not gonna lie to you. You will have a brief and a small little icebreaker, nothing serious, not you have to stand up and talk about yourself. You just sort of get to know everybody in the room and who you'll be sleeping next to and things like that. Personally, I met people on the bus and waiting at the train station, so I was already chatting to people, and I had this little box room. It's split off, the rooms are split off into sections, so it's one big room, but it's got walls dividing it, and I picked the room with these 4 girls, and that was just nice. It was a nice little army experience already, and you're not even in the army yet, so that was good. Obviously, you'll get your brief and everything. You'll get told what's going to happen for the next couple of days, and specifically the morning after. You'll go to bed. I would recommend going to bed early, as early as you can. Obviously, have a shower, do whatever you need to do. You can have the option to go to the rec room, which is a foosball table and a tennis table and a TV. There's also a vending machine, and it does take cards, so I would take £10 with you, whether that's cash or card. So yeah, if you just like want snacks or anything, because sometimes you're like hungry, but you obviously you can't control when you're going to eat, because when you go to the scoff house, it's like up to like the staff there. That's another thing, you call them staff. I found that really weird when I went there. They were like, you will refer to us as staff, and I was like, what? Like, I didn't really understand what they meant, so I was like, okay. And then I sort of got the gist that apparently they're called staff because they're not like corporals, they're like recruiters kind of. So they're called staff. So the next morning, breakfast is at 6:30 in the morning. You get woken up about 6, but some people woke up a little bit earlier. I personally didn't, because I don't take that long to get ready. Like, I just shove my hair up and go. You can choose from a cooked breakfast or a continental breakfast. I would be conscious of your BMI, especially if you're like me, where your weight isn't like, you're not the skinniest girl in the world. Because if you have like a cooked breakfast right before your medical, your BMI could go up and it's just not worth it. So what I had personally was on the first day, I had sausage, beans, toast, like just one sausage, one bit of bacon, beans, toast. I think that's what I had for my breakfast. Like, nothing extravagant. You do self-serve, but you only are allowed 2 proteins, so you're only allowed 1 bit of sausage, 1 bit of bacon, or 2 sausages or 2 bits of bacon. Like, it works like that, which I got it a little bit wrong at dinner time one day, and I nearly got yelled at. Well, I did get yelled at by the chef. He was like, no, you're only allowed 1 protein. And I was like, oh, sorry, didn't realise. So after your brief, you'll be told that the whole day will basically consist of your medical, your fitness test, and your cog test. I'm going to be honest with you, the thing that takes the most time is the medical, because you do have I've got a list. So you have an eye test, a hearing test, a breathing test, and an ECG, and then also like a general like body, like joints and that test. So it's such a long process, honestly. It took the whole day for some people. I know it took all day for me. So what happens is they sort of split you into groups. One group will go and do like the medicine ball, and the other group will sort of go and do like the mid-thigh pull, and then another group will go and start their medical, and then once you're done, you'll go and do your medical, or you'll go and do your medicine ball. I started my medical, I did my like mid-thigh pull and my medicine ball throw first. Then I started my part of my medical, and then we all came together just before lunch to do our cog test. Then I went back to do a little bit of my medical, and then it was lunch, and for lunch it's like a main sort of meal. I can't really remember what we had, pasta probably, or chips. I think we had chips and something, chips and chicken. Like, it's never exciting. The food at Purbright was actually quite nice though, especially the cooked breakfast. After lunch, I went to go and do the rest of my medical because I had quite a lot left to do. And after you've sort of done everything, it's just like rec time and debriefs, and then going to dinner. I'm gonna just quickly chat about the medical, because there's a lot of things that they don't tell you about the medical. Like, they've got a whole video on the assessment centre and it doesn't tell you some things that were shocking when I went there. So I'll go through the like list that I said about the hearing test and the eye test. Like, I'll talk a little bit about those. So the eye test is like your basic like optician's eye test, pretty standard. Your hearing test, you just go into this like soundproof booth and you have like headphones on. I genuinely thought I was gonna fail this bit, because honestly, people next to me at work like try and say something to me, and it takes them about 8 times to like for me to like be like, yeah, like I honestly think I'm deaf sometimes, and I'm like, did you just ask me like 3 times? And they'll be like 8, but like it doesn't matter, you heard it eventually. So yeah, you'll just go into the booth and put the earphones on, and you have to like press a button when you hear like a noise, and it does like each ear, and then you leave, and it's easy, simple. You do have to fill out a couple of forms while you're like in the waiting room for a few of the tests. Breathing test is literally just like a tube that you like into to like show your like lung capacity, I think. Right, so the most interesting part of the medical for me personally was the ECG. If you're in my group chat, you'll know probably But for those of you that don't, it's interesting. If you're a female, you go into the room and they're like, just pop all your clothes off on the top, and you literally, when they say all your clothes off on the top, they literally mean all your clothes off on the top. You have to take your bra off. Okay? So I didn't know this. I thought that you could just still wear your bra. That's another thing. Wear like sensible underwear. Don't wear thongs. Don't wear lacy stuff if you're a girl. Just wear something plain. But yeah, so they want you to take your bra off. They give you this tiny little like paper towel, piece of paper to like keep yourself decent. That's what they like. The woman said to me, she was like, here's this to just cover yourself over with. Lie on the bed. You lie like on the bed, and then she goes, 2 seconds later, she just goes, okay, I'm just gonna move this. I'm like, honestly, what was the point in the paper? Like, I'm gonna be embarrassed anyway, so like, why couldn't we just like, just leave the paper out of it, honestly? And then like, she like stick the stuff on you for the ECG, and then cover you back over. Just like, you've seen my tits already, love. Like, at this point, does it matter? I was so awkward. I was like this the whole time. I was like, like I am that sort of person that like awkwardly laughs. And then about an hour later, I went in for my like doctor's examination for like my joints and stuff, where you have to get into your underwear. And at this point, I'd already got my tits out, so I didn't really care too much about being in my underwear. But I had a male doctor, so I was allowed a chaperone. I didn't want one particularly, like, it didn't really bother me, but I was given a chaperone. And it just so happened that my chaperone was the same lady who did my ECG. And the doctor was like, this is Latasha. And then, like, she was like, this is blah, 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 nurse, blah, blah, blah. I don't think she was a nurse, but this is blah, blah, blah. She'll be chaperoning you today. And I was like, oh no, we've met. Because I was just like, she's in my tits. So yeah, that is one thing I would be prepared for. I wasn't prepared for it. So yeah. I forgot to mention that they take a urine test. So on the morning of your medical, you're going to do a urine test. So you pee into a tub, you write your name on the tub, pee into a tub, put it in a big box. At this point, are you really surprised? So yeah, like I said, like after all your medical and that is done, you have dinner, go to the rec room, go to bed. I would definitely recommend getting an early night, because you've got like such a busy day the next day, because it is your run and your team building and your interview, and you just want to be really well rested. I would definitely recommend getting an early night. On the morning of your run, again, 6:30 in the morning, you need to be ready for breakfast. I would definitely recommend getting the continental breakfast on the morning of the run, because you don't want to be sick on your run. You don't want to be that person, do you? So after your breakfast, you will then have a brief, which we definitely did. You'll go for like a warm up, and then you will go on your run. You'll do your 800 meter warm up and then your 2 kilometers best effort. The warm up's really easy, just like a gentle jog. It's not hard. It's not like quick sprint, like you just stay in a group and you just run. But obviously your 2K is your best effort, and I would definitely recommend just like go at your own pace. You'll be fine. Just, you know, don't sprint off. There's so many people there that will probably need to get like 8 minutes, and maybe you only need to get 11 minutes. So don't sprint off with them. Let them just get on with it. Just do your best and just think like, I'm not at assessment. I'm at home and I'm just running, and I'm gonna do a PB. Just think like that. After your run, you don't know your time. They will not tell you your time. You can sort of gauge what type of time you get by where you are in the group. So I was aiming to be sort of like middle. Like I didn't want to be first. I didn't want to be last, and I wasn't last, but I definitely wasn't in the middle rank. But you can sort of guess like what sort of time you've got, just from where you are in the group, and how you finish. So after your run, you'll go and get another brief, and then you'll get into coveralls and a helmet and you'll go and do your team building. Our team was not great at our team building. You do like 4 activities on different stations, and I had one girl who's like getting really annoyed. The Commonwealth girls didn't really speak much English, so she was getting really angry, and I was like, mate, you're like being like watched, like they're taking notes on you. So just try and like, don't be too loud, don't be too quiet, be a leader if you want to, but not like a pushy leader. Like just try and get like a good balance basically. So yeah, just in your team building, just be mindful that you are being watched like literally all the time. After that, you'll get washed and dressed. I had like no time when I had my shower. I literally just shoved my hair up in a bun, and it wasn't good. I looked awful, but I got into my smart clothes and went to my interview. You sit down like in a big room and they sort of debrief the whole like 2 days, and then you one by one go in to your interview. I felt really ill. I don't know why, maybe I hadn't drunk enough water, but I felt so ill. Like I was like leaning over like in my chair, like feeling really ill. So then when they called my name, you're meant to say like sir or like mum, and like stand up, and I like stood up and I was like sir, like really delayed. So I looked like an absolute knob, but like I really didn't feel well, and I was like, can I go outside please, like during like a really important speech. I was like, can I please leave? I just didn't really feel very well. I think it was just fatigue from the past 2 days. Like it was just tiring and I hadn't drunk enough. I'm not really good at drinking enough. It's something I need to work on personally. So when you go into your interview, you will get, I didn't really get asked questions. Now, whether you get asked questions or not, I don't know, but personally I didn't get asked questions. You will get a pass, defer or fail, and if you do pass, you'll get like an A to D grade or A to C grade, I think, and that will depend on what job offer you get and things like that. And after your interview, you go into a rec room, where you just get some sandwiches out of a box. There was some sausage rolls, things like that, things to take on your journey home with you. And everyone just sort of chats like how things went, are they in, are they not. I can honestly say to you that nobody failed on my intake. Not one person failed. I think one person was deferred for medical. That's the only thing that was like medical, but everyone was either deferred for fitness or they passed. But I will say only like 40% of my intake passed. The rest were like deferred. So for like fitness, but like I think there was like 2 people that were deferred for medical for like blood pressure and things like that. So they had to get like further tests like with their own doctor before they could continue with the process. After that, you'll get on a minibus and they take you back to the station, and that's it. You go and you're either in, you're not, you're deferred, you know, that's how it is. It's really not that scary. I actually really enjoyed my experience at the assessment centre. I met some really nice people. I don't speak to them now, but I did meet some really lovely people there. I didn't stay in contact with them. I did get them on Snapchat, but maybe I deleted them. I don't. I don't have them now, but it was great. It was a really good experience, and it just made me want to join more. It just made me like, oh, I just can't wait to be in. So now I'm going to answer some of your questions. Okay, so first question is, did it go as well as you had hoped? For me, it went as best as it could have for the training I did. I didn't really train, to be honest with you. I just winged it. So it went the best that it could have. I did surprisingly well on the cog test. I got like 48 on like the practice one, and I got 54, I think. I'd have to double check that figure, but I think it's 54 on the actual cog test, and I think 60 is like the maximum one for rolls. So pretty impressed with that, not gonna lie. Next question is, what part of the AC were you most scared of? The run. I was terrified of the run and the fitness and just anything fitness related. I was also scared that I would get there and I would just like be like, oh God, I don't want to do this because I have no backup plan. So luckily I went there and I was like, it confirmed it for me. If anything, I was like, oh my God, I have to be here. So I don't think I was really scared of my assessment centre. For me, I was just sort of like, I'm just gonna go and just see what happens. I didn't really put too much pressure on it. I was like, if I don't pass, I don't pass. If I do, great. Like, I wasn't hung up on it too much, which maybe is a bad thing, or maybe not. I don't know. The next question is, are there any kind of safety guidelines for the under 18s during the medical? I don't have a clue. You would have to speak to your AFCO about that. But obviously I do know that if you're female, I don't know why it's just females. If you're a male, you can ask for a chaperone, but they do really push chaperones on the females. I didn't even want a chaperone for my medical, but I had one. It's just to protect you, honestly, so that they can't have a he said, she said, and they can't have a he did this, she did that. Like, it's just to cover their backs, I'm assuming. But like I said, just be prepared for the fact that you are going to have to get your boobs out. And that's horrible. I don't know if the under 18s do it, you know. Not a clue. I was over 18, so I have no idea. You would really have to speak to your AFCO about it, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. The next question goes along the lines of, like, what did I expect the assessment centre to be like and what was it actually like? See, this is a tough one. I didn't expect to have to be essentially naked. I also sort of didn't expect the amount of respect they really give you. One thing they said to us when we got there was, we might be interviewing you, but you're interviewing us. And that is such a good point, because there were a couple of people who were like, oh, do I want to be in the army, when they were there, because you really are interviewing them. We had to do like laps of stuff if we didn't listen. It wasn't fun, but in the same way, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to like actually like do that. I think I'm crazy, not gonna lie. But yeah, no, assessment centre was sort of like how I imagined. Obviously the look of the place was very different to how I thought, but you always imagine things different to how they're actually going to be, like in your head, in terms of their looks. So yeah, I don't know. No, I think it was similar to how I thought it would be. I just didn't expect some elements like I've just mentioned. So yeah. And the final question is, where did you do your assessment centre? I did mine at Pirbright, like I said. Great place to go. Obviously I don't know what the others are like, but the food there was pretty damn good. So if I went to basic training anywhere, it would probably be Pirbright. I'd probably want to go to Pirbright. Although my boyfriend says the training is easier at Winchester, but the food is so much worse. So do I want to think about my stomach or my training? I don't know. So I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who has watched this video. I am really sorry that it's up a bit later than anticipated. I had a few technical issues. If you're in my group chat, you'll know what I mean. But thank you so much for watching and supporting my channel. I am on Instagram, CivieToSoldier. I really hope this has helped some people if you're feeling nervous about the assessment centre. Honestly, it's nothing to be nervous about, and if you do fail or if you do go there and realise it's not for you, that's great. Like I said, like, you're interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you. It really is a learning curve, and do you know what? Even if you pass and you decide, actually, I don't want to do this, this isn't for me, you have got the certificate and you can go to the police. You could go, in fact, you could go to any job interview and say, I've passed the selection process for the army, which is a really great achievement. So no matter what, you haven't wasted your time. You've done something good. You've learnt something. And if you've been deferred, don't worry, honestly. Lots of people get deferred. It's not a straight out fail. You can try again. Just don't worry about it. It's a learning curve, and it's an experience that you will never forget. And it will just push you to do better, to be honest with you, if you do get deferred. Honestly, just think of all the struggles I've faced and go through my Instagram and you'll find out all about my sort of army journey and how far it's taken me to get where I am. So yeah, don't worry. I just want to say thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Bye guys.